beloved? What's up, beloved? Okay, so let me try to even get this out before I forget how it was shown to me. Explain. So, Holy Spirit, let me decrease, let you increase in me fully in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. So I was praying right this morning, reading right. Oh, while I was praying, I saw in my mind's eye Hosea 2:4. Okay, and I had read further right to kind of like get a, what's the word I want to use, like an outline, right, of what the Lord's trying to say. And then I sat for a minute and I was like, Lord, what are you trying to say? Like, 'cause, you know, the enemy likes to use what we say that they're offended by against us, right? So I want to better articulate and be more specific in certain things. 1 through 3 on the timer. Okay. So I read Hosea 2 through 4, I believe it was, right? And then I went back to Hosea 2 and 4, right? So Hosea 2 and 4 says, "And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms." Okay? And I was like, Lord, what do you mean by that? You know? And then I read the next one, right? The next one said, "For their mother hath played the harlot. She that conceived them hath done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, my oil and my drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with horns and make a wall that she shall not find her paths. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband. For then was it better with me than now." And I go back, right, to Hosea 2 and 3, okay? I'm just start Hosea 2, right? There. "Say ye unto your brethren Ami, and to your sisters Ruhamah, plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst." And then, where did I see it? Okay, I won't take all day trying to find it, but I remember what it said, right? So, I mean, hold up. So, okay, so there's been people that have, right? Um, well, I guess you can say, women and men, because it is, right? But what it was saying, and I was getting, was that the same things that some people have done to God's children, right? 444 on the timer, right? Like those people that came in between your relationships, right? People that, had somebody already, and they took a look at you and your person's relationship, and they decided to come in between that and basically pull your person away, right? Well, they've done this, and it's a lot of people, right, that have done this purposely, right? They'll leave their habitation where they are with who they're with, or while they're with them, and they will. I just heard be a busybody in other men's matters. That's what I just heard in my spirit. Be a busybody in other men's matters, right? Okay, thank you. Um, and they will break up relationships, other people's relationships, right? Because they're not happy in their own, right? Or from jealousy, from envy, right? And it doesn't have to be that the person that they're with is not a decent person, right? It doesn't have to be that they're cheating on them or that they're doing these, horrible, unjust things, right? They could be the total opposite, right? But because somebody sees what you have, right? Somebody sees special connection that you have with someone, they envy that, right? And more than envying that, right? It's more of envying you having that with said person, right? It's not about the person. It's about them not wanting you to have that. Them not wanting you to be happy, right? Um, so the things that these mothers, right, or fathers, right, have decided to do, okay, and what they have done in breaking up these relationships, right? These connections that were supposed to be, well, that were strong, right? But they came in between purposely, and they did everything that they could to separate that, right? So much so that when they did separate it, they made it to where the person betrayed you so bad that there would never be any chance of there being a reconciliation. There would never be any chance of them coming back to you, right? They did this on purpose. This was planned, okay? So what I got was that because of these things, right? And because of the warnings that came, that were ignored, okay, telling them not to do these things, right, not to take these actions. Right now, they are left alone. Right now, from even the person or the people that they, I don't want to say stole from you, but the people that they led away from you, right? Because you can't really steal anybody from anyone, okay? People have their own free will, but the person that was led away captive, okay, from you, they're no longer even with them, right? Because they've awakened, they see now, right? While still not being able to come back to you, they're no longer with them either, right? Because they know more of the truth now, okay? So all in all, they still end up alone, right? Or without the person that they baited away, right? So then they tried to go back, like it said. They tried to go back to the person they were with already before they insisted on taking part in other men's matters, right? And bearing false witness against you, right? The person that they were with is not there anymore. So now they have no one, okay? Like a wilderness, okay? Let me see. Let me read that part over. Yeah. Lest I strip her naked and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. Right? So now that she's by herself, or he is by himself, right? Whoever the situation pertains to, okay, they are like a wilderness, right? They are like a dry land, right? Thirsty, okay, with nothing to drink, right? And they've inherently caused and set up things for their future generations, right? Because of their actions, right? Um, which is how it works, you know. They've inherently set up things for their future generations that God is going to allow, right? He's going to allow. Um, if you want to find it, just go read through Hosea. It's in between Hosea 2 and 4. I didn't want to sit here trying to spend all that time looking for it, but it said something like basically that the person's offspring, right? Daughters and sons, okay? They will suffer in their relationships in the way that their parent behaved in their relationship and the relationships of others, right? Their children's relationships will be broken up, right? Their children's spouses will cheat on them, right? Their children's spouses will go off and have children on the side with a third party, right? And they will be allowed to do it. You know what I'm saying? They will be allowed to do it. Like they will not be punished for it because this is what the parent or the parents were doing, right? So this is inherently what their children will go through, right? Lacking love, lacking structure, lacking just that comfort in a companion, right? A true companion, right? 12, 12 on the timer. And it's the sins of the mother and the father, right? That are passed down 12 to 22, right? And in this case, there was malice involved. There was I'm hearing the word deviousness and lasciviousness. Um, cruelty. Cruelty was involved, right? There was no reason to do what these people chose to do in making you suffer more than you were supposed to, right? And in turn, bringing suffering to their offspring, right? Their generations. The children that came from their third party, right? The person that you were with that had children with them on the side. Do you get what I'm saying? The offspring of that will be a product of what they came from, right? It'll be a product of what they came from. And it's up to God how, how many generations that will go down through, right? Initially, it will happen until there comes a generational curse breaker, right? But that's God knows all of that, right? His ways are higher than our ways, his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. So we can't determine that. But that's just another example of why we're doing what we're doing, breaking these generational curses, so that not only we will be free from them, right? By way of us breaking them, right? But also what we are going through, what we have been through, the suffering, the just the pain and the just everything, beloved, that you remember that you've been through, right? Your children will not ever, ever have to go through the things that you've been through, you know? Um, so, piggybacking off of that, okay? Those of you that are, if the enemy's, and more so not if, right? When the enemy is at you, okay, about your past, or trying to get you to walk backwards, or trying to weigh on you and trying to convince you that what you're doing is impossible, or what you're fighting for is just not obtainable, right? Remember that that is a lie first, okay? And remember why you're doing it. 1616 on the timer. Remember why you're doing it, right? Not just for yourself, right? For yourself first, okay? But also for your children, right? For the generations that come after you, for your children's children, and so on and so on, right? Because if we were to, let's say, if we were to turn around and go back the other direction, right? Those curses would still exist, right? They would come right back and with a vengeance. And there would be more curses added on, depending how you know, deep you dive, right? Or deep you go back. Um, but I digress, okay? Remember what you're doing it for, right? When things get heavy, right? When things seem insurmountable, when the valleys seem rigid and the mountain peaks seem impossible, right? Remember that all things with God are possible. All things with God are possible, right? And no matter how hard it is, right? No matter how much you have to run, walk, or crawl, right? You're going to keep moving. You're going to keep moving forward, right? And God's going to be right there with you, helping you every step along the way, right? Because you are the generational curse breaker. You are breakers. Excuse me. You are the generational curse breakers. You are, right? That's why there's so much kickback. There's so much restraint, right? There's so much pushback when you are doing the things that God has assigned us to do, right? But that also lets you know that you're going in the right direction and that you're doing something right. Okay? So just remember what you're doing it for. Okay? When you feel weakened, or like the enemies that at your getting at you. Okay? But yeah, this is how these other people's generations, right? Especially the kids that they produced outside of your relationship, right? While in your relationship, because there was a lot of children born. I mean, produced from everything that went on. A lot, because it was done purposely, right? Um, and that's something that is gonna have to be paid for, through the generations that come, you know. So that's it. I hope I got that out right. Love you guys, beloved. If you guys want to read that, right, and get more in depth, right, it's in the book of Hosea. Okay, you might as well read the whole thing. It's not. It's not long at all. It's not. It's like 14 chapters, I believe. 14 chapters. Yeah, it's not that long. All right, so love y'all, beloved. Holla at y'all later.